Born in Victoria, Valerie Sing Turner has written and stars in a play which at first glance may seem like it is about adultery, but it is really about much more than that. Knowing that romantic infidelity is always good grist for stage and screen, Valerie Sing Turner started working on a play she calls Confessions of the Other Woman. She now stars in it on stage in Vancouver, and it is my pleasure to welcome Valerie Sing Turner to Studio 4 to tell us more.
Thank you, Zan.
And of course, the first thing I just have to ask you is, have you had one of these affairs? But I won't, because you shouldn't have to confess.
Well, everybody will want to know that, of course, but I just say I've done a lot of research.
A lot of research. Good for you. This started with a paragraph, this idea, right?
It
kind
did.
Of a paragraph at a workshop or something.
Yeah, for a playwriting workshop, which I thought actually was a solo creation for a dance workshop, because I have a dance background. And so I had met one of the directors on my show, Jerry Trentham. I'd met him at a program called Canada's National Voice Intensive, which is a 5-week intense program for actors on voice work, working with Shakespeare's text. And he was on the faculty, and he was teaching this other workshop, and I signed up, and I found out I was signing up for a playwriting workshop, so I wrote this paragraph.
Confessions of the Other Woman. We hear about it a lot from the male perspective, but from the female perspective. I did read a book once called The New Other Woman, and it was about a woman who actually wanted to be a mistress of a married man. She liked it.
Right. I guess that for a lot of women, there are certain perks and benefits, and my research did seem to
really
address a lot of that. I mean, you know, it's a bit of a commodity, though, what women offer in terms of what society expects these days, or for centuries, like since the beginning of time.
Since Catherine the Great.
Even
had the
further
younger
back.
lovers.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I think it is, most of the stories we see out there, especially in film and television stuff, are written by men, and in theater as well. And I think it is really unusual to have it from the woman's perspective. And we often get the wife's perspective. Again, it's that sort of society, that morality, that idea of like not fitting, and how the other woman disrupts the fabric of society.
Sure.
So to really delve in from the other woman's perspective.
Yes, I took a course once called What Every Mistress Knows That Every Wife Should Know. It was interesting, I must say. So back to the play itself. Tell me the thread that runs through. What is it really about, the essence of it?
Well, oh my God, this play is so complex for me. I mean, when you write something, you really don't have an understanding of what you're actually putting out there. And so when I approach the work as the actor, I go, oh my God, like, who is this playwright? Like, I curse her for like making it so complicated. But I think it is about love, like hands down everything. It is about love, but it's love between spouses, love between lovers, love for ourselves, love from our ancestors. It really takes in that whole spectrum of how we love and who we love and why we love, and how that affects not only the people we love but ourselves.
Right. And if you do fall in love with somebody who is not available, with a married man,
what does it
or the husband of your best friend, we all have our rules. You know, I mean, certainly your best friend could be married to Mr. Handsome, gorgeous man, makes your heart thump, but most of my girlfriends, I think, would say, not going there.
Right.
He's gorgeous, he's fabulous, but he's my best friend's husband. But we know that that isn't always the case.
No, shit happens.
Yes, I hear that. I hear that. So, when you sit down in the play, it's not just dialogue. I haven't seen it yet, so tell me about it. It's not just dialogue.
It's interdisciplinary, and so there's movement, there's dance, what I call fantasy dances. There's 6 of them, and they're reminiscent of the style of Gene Kelly and Fred and Ginger Rogers.
Really? So Singing in the Rain a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. We have a little homage in there, but it's partly because the main character, Eve, you know, she talks about watching those movie musicals with her grandmother when she was young.
Oh.
And that sort of formed her idea of what love was about, this romantic ideal. And then as a grown woman, she finds herself in this place of being attracted to and falling in love with a married man and thinking, I'm not that person.
Right.
Like,
I didn't plan this.
I didn't plan this. Like, I don't have any respect for the other woman, you know. I never thought I would ever become one because, you know, I'm a particular kind of person. And then to find herself in this place, you know, she has to really question who she is.
Yes, very much so.
And try to figure out.
We've watched enough Oprah. You know, because the other women come together in Oprah and talk about their pain and their sadness when somebody falls in love with their husband, and then sometimes they blame the woman who fell in love with their husband, and then Oprah says, no, no, don't do that, because maybe it's not her fault, what was going on in your marriage, and it's complex just from that angle.
Yeah. Well, you know, it takes two to tango.
Of course it does.
Right, you know, and so often the man is sort of relieved of any kind of responsibility for his own actions.
Yes, and they often say, I know we always have said to all of our gal pals, by the way, you can have an affair with a married man, but he'll never leave her. He'll never leave the wife. And then occasionally they do.
Well,
it's
like I said,
the tangled web.
I did a lot of research, and you know, and it's really interesting to me that most of the books out there, especially the self-help ones, are directed at women. They're directed at the wives. They're directed at, you know, the other woman for, you know, what do you think you're doing? They generally comes from a very judgmental kind of place.
Absolutely.
Like, you know, what's wrong with you that you're, you know, going out and poaching someone else's man and that kind of thing. There's almost nothing that I could find that was directed to the man.
That's interesting.
To say, you know, what's going on with you, you know, how can you help yourself understand what you're going through, why are you, you know, doing this.
Right, why you stray. It's just a guy thing.
Or not even like, again, you know, why do you stray is sort of, again, from a judgmental kind of place. It's like, what's going on in your life, or, you know, what's happening in your marriage that you are wanting to be with another person. So really look at it, look at yourself and go, is this what you want? Is your marriage something? Are you still in love with your wife? You know, there's so many other questions.
Sure, are you staying for the right reasons?
Yeah, I mean,
are you staying for the wrong reasons?
And it's about being truthful to yourself.
Very much so, and there's so much freedom today, or so much more freedom today, because even 40 years ago, people stayed together financially for many reasons, the wrong reasons.
Right,
and some of us grew up with parents who couldn't.
Beliefs, and all sorts of reasons.
You grow up with parents who hate each other, but they stay together.
Yeah,
like,
and the play talks about all those kinds of situations. There's one character who says,
it branches and goes.
Yeah, there's
and
one
flows.
character who talks about, you know, a loveless marriage and his parents were like that. Another character talks about, there's many different kinds of relationships that are referenced, and I think what this piece, well, what I hope this piece will do is at the end of the evening, people will walk away thinking about their relationships, both past and where they are now.
Where they are now, how interesting, because after every play we get into the car and say, what do you think that was really about, or what was that about?
But for me, I will be happy if people will get in the car and start talking about where they are in their own relationship, or what made them happy in a past relationship, and are they settling now, and should they be, you know.
I can hear the discussion, yes. Were you really in love with Mary, or were you in love with me?
Yeah.
Are you still in love with Mary?
Or, you know, are you still thinking about that person you met like 5 years ago?
Yeah, and it's okay, because they do say, and then you'd have to get into the discussion, do you believe in soulmates? Is there such a thing as a soulmate, or is that just Hollywood?
Yes. You know, do you believe in love at first sight?
Exactly. Across a crowded room, perhaps. So Confessions of the Other Woman, you're at Performance Works in Granville Island until March 11th. Then you move to Evergreen Cultural Center in Coquitlam.
Yes.
March 13th to the 17th. How many in the play? How many
There's 3
characters?
of us.
Well,
3 performers, and a couple of the performers play 2 or 3 other characters. So
I see.
They're working really hard.
You're working hard. You are.
We all are.
How much fun to have written it and to be in it.
I'm very excited.
Yeah.
I'm very nervous, and it's been an amazing and terrifying experience all at the same time.
Amazing journey. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you. Valerie Sing Turner, Confessions of the Other Woman, playing at Performance Works starting Feb 29. That would be tomorrow night. Remember, you can catch all of our conversations on YouTube or follow us on Twitter at Fanny Studio 4.